Ooishi-san had agreed to participate. In other words, he had given us the green light. Good job, I bet you had some difficulties.
Not really. They actually agreed pretty easily. Boy, how nice it is to be young. I was the only one who struggled to make a decision. Pitiful, huh? We can't turn back anymore. I'll give it everything I have.
Ooishi-san was always a man with great presence. He seems pretty reliable when he's that determined. This will work. This operation will be a success. The enemy is unthinkably strong, but we're going on the offensive first. It's like in sumo, right? No matter how huge the opponent may be, there's a chance the entire match could be settled in an instant with a quick shift in stance during the opening rush.
See, Rika, doesn't it feel reassuring to have this many people on your side?
I don't intend on refuting you anymore. I was almost ready to give up just a few days ago, but now I can't believe how much the situation has evolved. Just might just be possible to change our fate after all.
Rika, that's not good enough.
You're right. I shouldn't say we might change our fate. We will change it. We will win. We will defeat fate.
In any case, the timing of our trap is extremely important.
What do you mean, timing? We should act immediately. Tonight it will have been 48 hours since Rika-chan disappeared. The longer we wait, the better position the enemy will be in. So we should act as soon as possible.
That's true. If we're too careful, that will give them more time. Our defense ought to be cautious, but our offense ought to be bold. It's very reassuring to have both your seals of approval. So what about it, everyone?
No objections. I've steeled my resolve. I'm ready anytime. Is it time yet? What do you think, Satoko?
We should go with haste, of course, but right now maybe a little too hasty. We're to surprise him. I think we should do it more carefully.
Surprise attack should take place at night. Is there any better time than now?
Calm down, you're both right. Surprise attacks usually do happen at night. But look at us now. We're still up, even though it's that dark outside, right? Night attacks were more effective when there was no electricity. Nowadays, surprise attacks don't always have to take place in the middle of the night. There's an even better time than that. Is there really a better time for a surprise attack? Ow, 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 ow.
I understand. At daybreaks, sort of right.
Oh, you know some interesting terms, don't you? It's true that the worst time to call somebody is not in the middle of the night, but early in the morning. People can't even think straight when they're half asleep.
Surprise attack at dawn. Yeah, that's a great time to do it.
You know, they said daybreak, wasn't they, right? Isn't there like a kind of spin-off game or something called Higurashi Daybreak? I'm not sure what it is, but I think it's a thing. Yeah, I think that'll be the most effective. Well, now, Takano-san is, it's more than likely that she'll do something to make it look like the 5th year's curse. But she'll try it tomorrow night.
So we'll try to get plenty of sleep that night before. Oh, I know the perfect time to spring my traps.
Surprise attack at dawn. Man, that sounds badass. Always wanted to do something like that. I'm fired up. You're just like my man, my Bar-san. It doesn't mean I'm the only man involved who isn't science. I oh my. Alright, ready then. 48-hour operation commences tomorrow. At dawn.
I was a bit confused. I was like, was I a spider? I was like, no, it was my hair.
Question is how they will react. Will we confuse them, and once we see their response, we'll attack. This is a raid.
Okay. As the leader of this club, I now agree that the 48-hour operation is now in effect. We'll carry out our tests at 4 a.m. tomorrow morning.
We'll get busy all of a sudden. All members should be ready for an immediate response. Train yourselves physically and mentally. And don't forget, the fate of Emisar rides on this battle. The enemy's conspiracy would end up destroying this village. Huh. Well, better. Yeah, we'll never let that happen. Well, we'll see how the enemy will react. Will they become demons or serpents? Maybe they'll become kittens. Oh, how cute of them. I don't think so. Something huge will happen for sure. This is like a little earthquake, and that's a forewarning of a huge tsunami. You're right. I feel that little earthquake too. But we'll create that huge tsunami, and either the village or the enemy will be swallowed by it.
We'll ride that huge wave for as long as we can.
This 48-hour operation will be a shock to the enemy. They'll panic, their pace will be off, and they're guaranteed to slip up somehow. We don't know how they're going to slip up, but just knowing that they will and preparing ourselves to act gives us the full advantage. We're surrounding our enemies on this huge game board that is Inumizawa. This festival will start with our siege.
Come on, we're ready. We're ready for June 19th, 1983.
You know what? That'd make for an awesome board game, wouldn't it? Higurashi. Just like us, Cluedo. But it's with a Higurashi theme. It's just like, who killed Rika? It's just like, well, canonly, it's like Takano. It's like, no. But it could be anyone in this game. Hey, Rika. Have this many emotions ever gathered on this day? Actually, there were always this many emotions in this world. There are always countless numbers of them gathered on this forgotten June 19th. We just never realized it because we always looked at the world subjectively. There are so many people in this world, and each of them has very important emotions. Those countless feelings are collecting together and giving shape to this world, this fragment. With this many emotions, what kind of world will we see? What kind of fragment will we be granted? Who will win, Takano or us? The time to find out is now. Let's open it. Let's open the door to June 19th of 1983. Basically things like, I'd be like, on that day, achievement unlocked, the door to the 19th. Be like, on that day, or round about that point, insert band name released their, like, the album that went on to be the most successful of their whatever. I don't know. I was thinking something like that, but it's like, I wasn't even alive in the 80s, so, I mean, I listened to a lot of 80s music, but it's like I forgot anything would be like, oh, specifically, oh yeah, 1983 around June. Yeah, what albums were released then? I have no idea. Still no tips, right? Which is weird because there's actually an achievement for it. It was past midnight and almost dawn. A very quiet time of the night where staying up late and getting up early melded together. That exact thing was happening in the offices of the Okonogi gardeners. There were only 2 people on guard duty and they were playing cards. They weren't sentries, so they really didn't need to be on guard all the time. Wherever they weren't allowed to fall asleep either. After the TV broadcast went off the air a little past midnight, they usually ended up playing cards. Suddenly the phone rang. The phone was right nearby, so one of them answered immediately. Thank you for calling, this is Okonogi Gardeners. Yes. What?
Suddenly, the man taking the call stood up with a jolt. He even hit his knee against the desk, but he was too panicked to care. Takano dashed into the underground security room in a hurry. Have we ever seen her look pissed off like that? I think we might have, but not in her casual, attire there. I'm sorry to bother you, Major. Forget the coffee. Give me an update. Are you sure about this? Yes, at 4:15 a.m., the body that was found in Okonogi jurisdiction was identified as R. How can that be? R's at home sick with a cold, isn't she? You were observing her, weren't you? Major, there's more. According to an intelligence agent talking for PD, at least 48 hours have passed since her death. Takano could feel her blood freezing, starting from her feet. She just couldn't believe what was happening. At least 48 hours. At least 48 hours since the death of the Queen Carrier. Takano just couldn't understand. It can't be right. Why the village is still so composed? We could have developed terminal symptoms as early as after 36 hours, which was last night. But according to the intelligence agent, this is reliable information. The station was even put under a gag order because they were fearful of the religious impact it would have on the village. Could have. What do you mean? And who do you have observing that house? Major, our observation system is perfect. Rika is there at that house. Never since we started, she hasn't even stepped out of the house once. The Director confirmed it himself. It's just impossible. Then how do you explain this? The police department is saying that the body is Rika, that it was been over 48 hours since her death, right? Are you telling me they're lying? Lie. That's it, maybe it's a mistake. I was planning to fake my death using up there from the Kiefer Police Department tonight. This is the same thing. Yes, it's a lie. It must be a mistake. Takano wasn't confused because she was still half asleep. No, Takano was afraid. Her grandfather wrote in his article that within 48 hours of the Queen Carrier's death, everyone in the village would develop terminal stage symptoms. This would mean that he had been wrong. What about everyone who believed his words? What would they think? Excuse me, Major. There's a phone call from Nomura-sama in Tokyo. Why is that woman calling me now? While I'm on the phone, check the body the police found immediately. We can't, not right now. When our agents come in, we'll have them approach the station and observe what's going on. And what time is that? 5? 6? Needs to be done as soon as possible. Tell them to hurry up. Good morning, Takano here. This is a complete shift. All the unit members were gathered in the office of Okonogi Gardeners, which served as a garrison for the man and dogs in Okinawa. I see. As soon as you find out something from the police, call both me and the Major. By the way, regarding the observation system of the R residence, why didn't you confirm that she's home? We assumed she didn't pick up the phone because she was sick with a cold. Director Irie went by and confirmed her presence, so we just took him at his word. Naive. So there's someone at the R residence, that's for sure, right? Yes, there is someone there. Commander, why don't we enter the residence? We still have a little time. We can't do that without approval from the Major. I'm sure she won't let us until she confirms the matter out at the Okonogi PD. Preparation for that order increased the number of observers at the residence. At least 8 people. Commander, there will be a festival at the shrine later today we can observe, but I don't think it'll be possible to enter until tomorrow around midnight. Shit, what lousy timing. Wait. It's too much of a coincidence, don't you think? Okonogi's rusty yet wild instincts were sounding an alarm. He sensed that someone was attacking them, sensed that his enemy had begun to attack. He realized that the enemy had taken the initiative. People usually take a deep breath before they attack. That moment right before they strike is their most vulnerable.
Okonogi assumed that whoever his enemy was, they were led by an excellent commander who knew the precise moment to strike. By the way, about First Lieutenant Tomitake, they said he didn't show at the clinic's meeting the other day. Is that right? I'll have someone check on him. They just asked me if I knew where he went. You think it's First Lieutenant Tomitake? Have Nightingale check Tomitake's hotel room. Shit, he tricked us! Well, we can't turn back now. Let's see what happens next. Guy was trembling with excitement.
Go-Chan, I'm going to check the communication center. Hold down the fort.
You bet. Nobody will get through here over my dead body. All I have to do now is handle phone calls. I'm going back to my post. Go, my guy, take care of this place, okay? You can count on me.
Guy closed the door quietly and stood in front of it. This was his chance to show Ooishi what he was made of. Ooishi was on his way to the communication center. All radio communications and phone calls pass through there first. During business hours, each section answers its own phone calls, but when they aren't open, the communication center answers them instead.
How's it going here?
Well, there was an outside call for forensics calling directly just a few minutes ago.
Who called?
It's Chief Inspector Ohtaka.
Ah, Ohtaka-kun.
Ooishi grinned. The enemy had started to move. They must have bribed someone inside the police department to be their spy. And he had started to move just as they planned.
So that must have been their spy then?
Ooishi was surprised to learn that it had been Ohtaka. Ooishi had never liked Ohtaka because he constantly boasted about his academic background and always opposed Ooishi, who believes in relying on experience. They didn't get along at all when they worked together at the prefectural police department.
Phone call has ended.
I'm going to ask the old man. Let's see. Hello. Oh, it's me, don't worry. So how was it?
That greenhorn sure put on airs. So I just snubbed him. The idiot sure got mad. He'll come here as soon as the marshal gets in.
That's so like him. He can't even fight by himself.
It's getting more interesting by the minute. That phone call woke me up completely. Just like you said. There are plenty of suspicious going on out there. I can just feel it.
Well, things are getting interesting now. What's up next?
Hey, Stevens, over here. Come for the reading.
Hello, this is Tomitake. That's not the Tomitake voice.
Oh, this is Tomitake.
Okay, that's his info. The guy, he was doing the research, wasn't he?
Good morning, First Lieutenant Tomitake. Sorry to bother you this early. I'm calling to let you know that the Mountain Dogs have made a move. Just a little while ago, all the members were called in because of an emergency.
Oh wait, no, this is probably Erie, isn't it?
We don't know the reason yet.
I see. So it's finally started.
Tomitake turned on the light right next to his bed and put on his glasses as he answered.
Also, there's been a rumor going around in the police department over there. We haven't confirmed it yet, but the Queen Carrot's dead body was found.
What? Tell me more.
Supposedly an unidentified body turned out to be Rika. She died over 48 hours ago. It's past the time limit in Emergency Manual 34, but there's been no change in his house so far. Have you heard anything?
Okay, maybe it is the guy he was getting the research from.
No, I'm an alchemist, so I don't know, but that isn't possible. Must be some kind of mistake.
I mean, Tomitake wasn't really filled in on that whole plan, was he?
That's what we think too, but according to our analysis, the information is very reliable. It's almost a certainty. We haven't confirmed it yet, but multiple forensics department workers have testified.
Multiple?
That's bollocks right there. But, Tomitake realized something. He realized that the Okonogi police station was Ooishi's territory. He also realized that this must be the work of Rika and her friends. Tomitake tried to think calmly. Even they didn't know who their enemy was. It's obvious the emergency manual is the signal for an explosion, so they must have come up with the idea to destroy that signal. The foundation of their emergency manual is that unless something is done about it, within 48 hours after Queen Kara's death, all the villagers will develop terminal stage symptoms. So if nothing happens after 48 hours, there's no need for the emergency manual. And with that, the mounted dogs have to be called in.
Hello, First Lieutenant Tomitake. Sorry. Considering this current situation, it'll be hard to tell if anything suspicious is happening at your institute. Please ask the Colonel to check immediately. Also, in case of emergency, can you make sure the bloodhounds are ready to deploy? Roger that. We should have more information by 9 a.m. The man dogs revolting will become very dangerous there. Please be very cautious. Of course, I'll be careful. I'll talk to you again at 9 a.m.
It was 6 a.m., so Tomitake should get another call in 3 hours.
Nightingale 1 to all units. Tomitake is in room 406. Observation team, do you see anything? It's Nightingale 4, nothing from the outside. It's Nightingale 5, nothing on this floor. It's Nightingale 3, there's no sound in the room.
That's because he's no longer in that hotel.
He's probably asleep.
There was a do not disturb sign on Tomitake's door. Perhaps he stayed up very late last night and was found to sleep in. This was a great chance for the Nightingales.
Be sure to capture him alive. It's an order from the Major. Let's go.
They tried to break into Tomitake's room very quietly. Obviously it was a simple job for them to pick a hotel room's lock. Two members at the door communicated with each other using sign language. Even knowing he was asleep, it would be a good idea not to barge in. They opened the door very cautiously and very quietly. Room's interior was organized but tasteless, typical of cheap hotels. Only furnishings were a bed, a small desk, and a coin-operated TV. Coin-operated TV, oh man, I remember those. See, that's what I mean about a bloody cough being annoying. Used to have a TV like that, pain in the ass, man. Clearly only one person could stay in this room. And there in the bed, Tomitake couldn't be found.
What's wrong, Nightingale 3? Response. Shit, this room is empty.
It was still early in the morning, but the room was empty.
What's going on? Tomitake likes to take walks and also take pictures of wild birds. Could he have gone out to do that? No, that's not it. He might have deceived us.
The do not disturb sign was on the door. With that sign there, the housekeepers wouldn't come in the room, so they wouldn't know if it was empty or not. The sign had probably been on there since at least the day before. Knowing that Tomitake was planned to stay for a long period, the hotel hadn't really paid much attention. In other words, the room had been empty since then.
I bet he changed hotels expecting an attack. See, that's why he hasn't been seen lately. Call the Major immediately. Damn it, plan has been leaked.
Okonogi realized that he had been beaten to the punch. The foundation of the emergency manual had collapsed, and with that, the basis of the final operation was shaky. Okonogi felt that the Major had panicked and rushed into confirming that what was going on too hastily. If Tomitake suspected us and went into hiding, then after caught wind of that, he was sure to come grab us by our tails.
Everything's just too convenient. Shit. This must be exactly what the enemy planned.
Okonogi tried to calm himself. If he was going to investigate in secret, he could assume that Tomitake was still nearby. The department in Tokyo must be the one conducting the investigation, so he must be waiting somewhere for a report from that department. Tomitake was probably at a new hotel. Probably somewhere in Okonogi. Damn cough.
Get in touch with Crow in Tokyo. There must be someone reporting to him regularly. Find the number they're calling. If the number is somewhere in Shishibone City, bingo.
Then he back, oh, you were right on the mark, Okonogi. What, that he was in Shishimori? No, not just that. He was staying at a bingo hall. Okonogi was confident about his hunch. If what he was thinking is correct, that meant his identity was about to be exposed. Also meant his operation had failed before it even started. But it wasn't a checkmate quite yet. If he could prove that the dead body at the Okonogi police station wasn't R, then everything would go back to square one. All he had to do was capture Tomitake and then check the body at the station. That was all.
Commander, I got a hold of Crow. They won't be able to tell what exactly they talked about, but they say that they can find the phone number. Just need a little time. How much time? Just a few hours, they said. Shit. They just want just a few hours. Tell them I don't want to rush them, but they better be quick.
It was a little past 6 a.m. It was already light outside, but still too early for the cicadas to start their morning chorus. They'd endured the first wave. It was now a matter of how quickly they could recover. Okonogi just hoped that the Major didn't throw a fit. Or she's gonna throw a fit.
Commander, a message from Crow. They're still looking into the phone number. Also, the research division's routine check-in time is at 9 a.m. 3 more hours.
He looked up at the clock. Even the little things were beginning to bother Okonogi. Every time the second hand moved, he became more impatient, realizing the check-in time was getting closer and closer.
Also, Colonel Ohtaka, head of investigations, issued a standby order to the Bloodhounds. He hasn't said anything about a mission yet, though. Okay, so that means they can still stand down. Nothing happens, he can just play it off as a drill. We're okay, we still have time. More information. The head of investigations called the chief of staff's home line. We don't have the details. We're okay, we're still okay. It's a close call, but we're okay.
Bloodhound standby's orders meant they saw a very high chance of the area institute revolting. The people on site must be practically certain of it. Though it's not as difficult to execute as the emergency manual, ordering out the Bloodhounds isn't that easy. They only did so because they've realized that some kind of trouble is afoot. Okonogi was sure that the people who wanted to conclude matters peacefully were trying to settle things down, by saying it was just a mistake. An order to the Bloodhounds to stand by without clarifying a mission is like a middle ground in that sense. But the head of the research division had called the chief of staff. This was a very dangerous situation for the Mountain Dogs. In other words, the higher ranks of the SGF, or people even higher than them, had decided that the Bloodhounds could take the field. Uniforms are hot-blooded, but the suits always push for peaceful resolutions. They still hadn't decided which way they want to go yet. Our loss wasn't certain yet. Win or tie, everything was riding on the same table. If that was the case, the call coming in at 9 a.m. Research Division didn't bode well. Okonogi couldn't say why, but he had that impression. It was just his wild instinct doing its job. He could guess that the people in Tokyo were going to ask Tomitake about the situation in detail, and then decide what to do based on that. It was possible that the head of the division, or even the chief of staff himself, might come on the phone. Then the Bloodhounds might get an order as soon as the 9 a.m. phone conversation was over, which would result in his defeat. Tokyo was still unsure. Some were still thinking it was some kind of mistake, or they wanted to think it was some kind of mistake. If Tomitake didn't answer the phone, they might send some people immediately, but they wouldn't order out the Bloodhounds. There's a chance it could end in a draw. If they found out that the body didn't actually belong to R, then although it would corner them, they still had a good chance of winning. But they'd lose the possibility of a complete victory. Okonogi knew that Takano's clients hadn't ordered anything else but exactly that. He didn't want to admit it, but the enemy surprise attack succeeded.
Commander. Shut up. Calm down. They aren't sure yet. They're suspicious, but they aren't sure. They're still okay. Anyway, whoever gets information first wins. Either they try out something first or we do. We've beaten this surprise attack, but we haven't yet been annihilated. So don't you dare fly a white flag. We'll just wait. Ro will find out where Tomitake is. Our guys at the police station will expose the truth about R's death. So all we can do now is to wait and endure. Excuse me, Major Takano is on the line. She sounds extremely angry. Shit, I don't have time to babysit a princess now. Hello, yes, this is Okonogi. Yeah, well, don't jump to conclusions. Hasn't been decided yet. Why don't you have a cup of coffee first to calm yourself down? Yeah.
Okonogi tried to change the subject while pretending to laugh, but all he could hear was Takano's frantic voice. Couldn't even understand what she was trying to say. The second hand on the clock ticked on. Who was going to be able to smile at the end of it all? Today was going to be a long battle. Okonogi's instincts told him so.